What's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan of KyleTheWriter.com coming to you live from Boca Raton, Florida. It has been a minute since I have went live on this channel. I am excited. I hope I still got it. I hope I still know what I'm doing. I am going through a whole process of trying to figure out how to kind of outsource some of my video creation stuff, and I'm trying to create cool teaser content for the Copy Squad Inner Circle. So sorry if I haven't been going live a lot lately. I've been trying to figure out ways where I can manage the same amount of content without going live, and so far I've failed. So, you test, you live, you learn. I'm just going to keep going live until I get this whole thing figured out. I'm glad to be back. What I want to talk about today is good mentors versus bad coaches, especially for copywriters. Put that in the title. Good mentors for copywriters, bad coaches for business owners, copywriters, etc., etc. And this comes from a place near and dear to my heart a little bit. It comes from an example of just what I've seen in the field of really what I think is dangerous and harmful coaching practices. I want to say just dangerous is probably the best word. And I'm going to start with the reason that this whole video is being made right now. And then I'm going to dive into some other things that good mentors should do versus what bad mentors do. But the one personal example that really just makes me furious is this idea of coaches encouraging people to put themselves in a bind. Now, if you've ever seen me pitch, I always try to let you know that for my more expensive products, don't buy it if you can't afford it. I've been broke. I've literally been homeless. I've struggled. I've felt the shame of reading a piece of copy and the offer was irresistible and I couldn't afford it, and just I have to change my life and make this better. And for that, I never say, go whip out another credit card, go take out a loan and buy my products. I don't believe in that. And I've heard stories of coaches encouraging students to schedule that vacation now. Go buy that thing now. Go take out that loan and buy the thing you want. Go get that sports car today and then work hard to pay for it in the future. And that is not coaching. That is not instruction. That's not mentorship. A mentor or a coach should teach you a set of skills. You should be a better XYZ. If you come to me with copywriting ideas, my goal should be to improve your conversions. There should be some sort of measurable impact. You should get more sales. You should be able to write copy more quickly. Something about your skill set should improve. I should not say, hey, if you really want to write better copy faster, why don't you put yourself in massive suffocating debt and then see if it'll make you work harder. No. Improving someone's work ethic, that's on the person. That's not, a coach can offer tricks, techniques, meditation, whatever, stuff like that. But forcing someone's hand or convincing them basically that the thing that they should do is put themselves further into a bind, is not furthering their career. And this is a rant, but I feel like it's true, and I've seen it personally, and it makes me furious. Because as a guy who struggled to pull himself out of debt, and I've used copywriting to do that, it makes me very angry to see someone encourage someone to put their life in a bind. So that is your coach should only improve your skills and should not be telling you to do wild stuff like that. So that's my rant. Now let's get into some stuff about what things other mentors or coaches should be doing. So they should teach you skills, not force you into a jam. Another thing they should do is they should basically, I think the overarching message I wanted to get from that. Okay, I'm coming back to the rant really quick. I'm coming back to the rant on the coaches really quick. They should tell you shit you don't want to hear. They should tell you things that make you a little unhappy, make you sad for a moment, right? And I'll explain what I mean by that. But here's why the coaches who encourage you to go take a vacation now and pay for it later, why that's so damaging and dangerous is because all they're doing, they're enablers. You're paying them to basically say what you want to hear, to basically give you a way out, to give you an excuse, to give you, I don't have this responsibility. My coach told me to go take a vacation. They're enablers. They're not teaching you good skills. They're not helping you improve your life, your business, or make more money. They're simply enabling your get-rich-quick mentality. And that is poisonous, and it's because they know they can make more money off you if they just tell you what you want to hear. if they just feed you the bullshit about get rich quick, if they just feed you the bullshit of, yeah, if you go take out this credit card now and pile on $10,000 worth of debt, you'll make more money because you have to. No, you make more money for acquiring better skills. All right, I'm talking in circles, but basically the overarching theme is a coach or a mentor should be able to, and willing, not even just willing, but like they should almost relish telling you things that you don't want to hear. And what I mean by that, I'm gonna go through a couple examples. One, a bad mentor, a good mentor will tell you it's not about the money. A good mentor will not tell you to chase the money, right? I remember this when I started working at Agora Financial, and my first question, and it's funny because I'm on the other side of it now, and people ask me, how much money can I make? How much money can I make? How much money can I make? And I'm like, bro, you can't control that. That's not something that you really have any control on whatsoever. All you can control are in this book, Deep Work, that I pitch all the time by Cal Newport. Love that book. He talks about lag measures and lead measures. And the only thing that you can control are what's called lead measures. The lead measures are your inputs. You can control your input. You can control how many hours of deep work you do per day. And that sort of influences how many pages or how many sales letters or pieces of copy or emails that you can produce. Because the more you work, the more emails you can produce. But sometimes even putting in the work doesn't necessarily guarantee it. Like you could have problems with marketing, you could have problems with legal compliance, you could have problems with design and get it set back further and further and further. But again, acting on a lead measure, like how many hours you work, will lead to what's called lag measures. Money is the ultimate lag measure. You can't control the money. You can't control the money. All you can do is try to hit a certain number of promotions, right? Try to hit a certain number of output. You could try to do output hours. You could try to do words per day, and even that one's a tough one to do because sometimes you need to do a lot of research, and it could take you hours just to find, the next 100 words that you need, right? So you need to understand, like a good mentor will tell you, will not motivate you specifically to measure your success with money. Because it's a very difficult thing to do, and it's a long end, like it's the way end result. It's a lag measure. A good mentor will tell you some shit you don't want to hear. They'll tell you what you need to do is focus on doing more research. What you need to do is focus on doing more words, or simply sitting down and doing more deep work, sitting down at your desk with your ass in the seat, focusing on putting in quality time without your cell phone turned on, without Facebook pulled up, with zero distractions, and putting in as many hours as you physically can. I don't want to say as physically can. Let me scale that back a little bit. I try to do at least 2 hours of deep work a day and keep a tally. If you just write the tally on a sheet of paper next to your desk or on your desk next to you, you will have a different sense of like, did I accomplish anything today? If you look at that piece of paper and there aren't 2 tallies, you're going to feel not so great about yourself, and that's motivation, right? So again, first thing, the big overarching premise: a good mentor will tell you some shit you don't want to hear. A bad mentor will tell you exactly what you want to hear. So the first thing was, a good mentor will tell you, don't go in after the money. Money will come. The money will come as a result of your lead measures. And your lead measures are going to be like the time you put in, the amount of words you produce, the amount of emails you produce. Those are your lead measures. Money is a lag measure. And a bad mentor will motivate you with the lag measure, some shit you can't control, because your sales letter might be a total dud. You could spend a month on a sales letter that the market just isn't receptive to. Or, for instance, like say you wrote a cryptocurrency sales letter in, the end of 2017, right? And the market was hot. Bitcoin was $20,000, and then January rolls around and it dropped, right? So let's say you put all this work from the end of December through January on a Bitcoin sales letter, but it just dropped. Now the market's not receptive. Now that $1 million sales letter that you were going to put out isn't a $1 million sales letter anymore. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's the market. Things change. This is sales. Nothing's guaranteed. And a good mentor will tell you some shit you don't want to hear like that, okay? So you need to control your lead measures, not focus on your lag measures. That's thing number 1, okay? Thing number 2, a good mentor will develop ideas and angles with you, okay? So we're talking about specifically marketing for business owners and for copywriters right now. Like, we make our bread and butter off of having new and unique ideas all the time. And a good mentor will sit down and flesh out your ideas. Most of the time, a good mentor will tell you how you can improve your idea. But coming back to our central theme, they're going to tell you things you don't want to hear. Like, hey man, this idea doesn't have any legs. Or hey man, I've seen this idea 100 times before. Or, hey man, like, you really need to flesh out how you're going to deliver on this or what your mechanism is. See how I kind of just get into it more and more? I start picking it apart, right? You kind of almost want that masochistic approach to it. Like, you want a mentor to tear your stuff apart so that you can get better. He can tell you what exactly you need to improve, okay? It's a good mentor. He's going to make your feelings hurt a little bit. A bad mentor is going to do what? Going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. He's going, wow, that's a great idea, man. Let's test that. That's fantastic. I'm ready to roll on that thing. That's because a bad mentor, again, is just paying. He knows if he just gives you what you want to hear, he just tells you what you want to hear, you're going to pay him. All right? And then you don't have to really do any work. Like, it's so much easier just to tell you what you want to hear, let you go run off to the races, and I just collect my check. And oftentimes, the bad mentors charge more than the good mentors because they're shills, they're scams, they're junk. They're junk, and I've seen it. So watch out for guys who love all your ideas. Watch out for guys who are like, that's fantastic. Wow, you're so brilliant. Bullshit. You're not. All right? Hate to break it to you, but that's why I'm probably a better mentor than that dude. So anyway, so yeah, the overarching thing. Good mentors will tell you shit you don't want to hear. Bad mentors will tell you exactly what you want to hear. Thing one, which I've already forgotten. Oh yeah, lead measures versus lag measures. Thing two, good mentors will develop ideas and angles with you, okay? Bad mentors will just be like, wow, that's a great idea. You're so smart. And, you know, another part of that is the fact that they can't develop ideas and angles with you because they don't really have any experience, and that's why they're also a bad mentor, okay? So keep that in mind. They'll tell you everything you want to hear in terms of ideas. The next thing, good mentors will dive into the details. Good mentors will dive into the details. So let's say you're either a business owner or a copywriter, you're writing up some copy. Oh, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I actually haven't been paying any attention to the comments box or anything like that. But, okay. So anyway, going back to it. Yeah, so a good mentor will dive into the details with you, while a bad mentor will go, oh, I'm a big picture guy, okay? So a good mentor is going to hone your skills. He's going to make you better at your skill set. So in terms of, let's say you're a direct response copywriter, okay? A good mentor is going to go in here and say, hey man, I see you using a lot of negative words here and attributing it to the reader. For instance, I think one lesson that I learned from my mentor was strongly about like, hey man, you're using all these fear and like all these negative emotions, but then you're directly saying like this will happen to the reader, and it's kind of skewing up that greed and that ego and that happy like I want attitude. Sure, fear, right? But the way you're doing it is basically turning everybody off. So instead of saying, so for instance, I'm sorry for getting off track right there. The best way to kind of look at it is like calling out their fears and problems directly. Like for instance, if someone has, how do I put it? If someone has like a deep-seated fear, it's probably better to illustrate that, you know, in some way that doesn't directly make them feel like clicking off the page because they're so hurt by it, you know? So if it's like an erectile dysfunction thing, like you can say, like you maybe do like a story about some other guy or something, right? Just tell a story, something where it doesn't necessarily, like he relates, but it doesn't really hurt his feelings personally, so you can turn around and say, here's a solution. That's just the one off the top of my head, but that was one of those things that like I never thought of it that way, and I wish I had a better example for you right now. But just the idea that someone would sit down and tell me like the way I'm positioning my words matters. Like these, like take this word and instead of saying you, just say Jeff. Just tell a story about another guy or something like that, right? Like do something like that. And I was like, wow, that's a detail sort of level feedback that I had never really heard before, and it really changed the way that I approach negative affect in my copy and my marketing. It's a very tricky game. It's a nuanced game, and different scenarios need different sort of context. Okay, so a good mentor will go dive into those details with you, right? A good mentor will find the areas where you could be screwing up. They'll go line by line, word by word with you, or you know, they'll sit there and break apart like your headline. They'll break apart stuff with you, right? They'll break apart your offer. They'll break apart pretty much whatever you want them to break apart, or whatever they see needs to be detailed, broken down. A bad mentor is, again, he's sitting back in his chair, he's telling you what a great, smart guy you are. All you got to do is just hustle and you'll win. And then he says, you know, hey man, just send me this stuff and I'll give you like a big picture overview, where they basically go, yeah, I like that part and I like this part and I like that part. Maybe you could do a little more with the urgency. I didn't see much urgency, okay? Thanks, that'll be $1,000, right? That's a bad mentor. A bad mentor doesn't really have this, I don't think they have the skills or capacity to actually fulfill on what they're promising. And they don't intend to. Even if they did, they don't want to. Instead, a bad mentor is going to sit there and tell you exactly what you want to hear. They're going to give you the easy way out more often than not. And they're not going to go into any specific level of detail about things that you could improve when they can basically just be like, hey man, good stuff. They're basically enabling the person they're supposed to be helping. They're not lending any new skills, and they're taking advantage of them. And I've seen it, and it makes me so angry. So I was compelled to do a video today about good mentors and bad mentors. And I just want you to be like, buyer beware. Be on the lookout for people who are just patting you on the back all the time. They're wasting your money. They're wasting your time. They're not improving your skill set. Okay? So that's all I've got for my rant today, Copy Squad. Let me see if I've got anything else in here. I don't see any comments or questions coming through. So with that, I'll go ahead and just let you know, talking about mentorship and stuff here, the Copy Squad Inner Circle right here. That's my new, I want to call it community, right? It's the Copy Squad Inner Circle. We'll have bi-weekly training or conference calls where we can kind of discuss copy together as a group. We'll also have bi-weekly sales letter breakdowns, so that'd be the trainings and stuff. And I'm also bringing in expert guest trainings. I had a phenomenal email marketing training with this guy, John S. Rhodes. He's a good friend of mine. He's a really smart dude, one of the nicest dudes, and man, he knows his stuff. He's been doing it for about, I can't remember if it's 12 or 15 years. I should go back and find out which one he said. But that is included in the membership. And whenever you join, you get access to all the old content. So you can go ahead and join today and get that email. You can get my last sales letter breakdown, get that email training, my last sales letter breakdown. And our next call will be on Tuesday. So you can join on the conference call and get copy feedback from me and a group of other professional writers and marketers. So I hope you will join us, man. I'm really excited about this project, and it's not fluff. That's kind of what I'm trying to talk about here. Is I'm trying to avoid the fluff, man. I'm tired of like people just charging because they have the title that they gave themselves called coach. All right, one more chance. Nope, no comments. Thanks so much for tuning in. Can you even see my thing? Yep. Peace out, Copy Squad.